back to my channel. I'm Victoria and I talk all things Toronto Maple Leafs from across the pond in Scotland. Every week I do a little roundup of the past week's Leafs games. This week we're on week 10 already, which is absolutely crazy to think about. This season is going by so fast. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also like this video for more content like this. And let's talk about week 10 of the Toronto Maple Leafs season. It was another busy schedule week, 4 games, another back-to-back at the weekend. One was a travel day, one was at home. December is just so busy for the Leafs. It's actually crazy. After such a quiet November, December is just filled with games. To kick off this week's games, on December 10th, the Leafs were away to the New Jersey Devils and they won 2-1 in OT. This game was the definition of daylight robbery. The Leafs did not deserve this win at all, but of course, I will take it. There are no complaints from me. They just didn't deserve to win it though, in my opinion. The Devils were dominant throughout the first 2 periods. The Leafs' goaltending definitely kept them in it. Stollarts was once again just absolutely on great form. There were no goals in the first period and this game remained obviously very low scoring throughout. A second period goal from Andre Palat saw the Devils finally take the lead, which they actually deserved. If it was not for the Leafs goaltending in this game, they would have struggled. We then had an unexpected turn of events because, as I say, New Jersey were by far the dominant team. They were the better team all game long, but in the most ridiculous play I think I have seen this entire season, Pontus Holmberg, of all people, managed to find the back of the net with a short-handed goal. The Leafs had gone this whole game without really producing too much offensively. In the first 2 periods, in the first 40 minutes total, they had 6 shots on net. And yet somehow, before the end of the game, Holmberg, of all people, manages to score short-handed. It was absolutely insane. I still can't believe that this play actually happened. I really had to rewatch it a good few times after the game because I couldn't believe what I'd witnessed. But this pushed the game to overtime where Austin Matthews scored unassisted, giving the Leafs their most undeserved win of the season so far. As I say, across the first 2 periods, the Leafs had 6 shots on net. They did get better in the third, but they were still outshot 39-17. Absolutely ridiculous. The Leafs were just doing nothing up front in this game. Meanwhile, Stollarts made 38 of 39 saves, which is just absolutely fantastic. The Leafs' only saving grace throughout this game was obviously their goaltending, but also their penalty kill was actually pretty good. The Devils went 0 for 4 on the power play in this game, so the Leafs definitely, they were doing something right. It was more their offense that was really the problem here. They just were not getting any pucks on net, and a team as good as New Jersey, if you're not getting pucks on net, you do not stand a chance. Although it turns out actually you do have a chance, because even if you only get 6 shots on net throughout the first 40 minutes, it turns out you can still win it because Pontus Holmberg did something ridiculous. The Leafs had 3 power plays in this game, and not only were they unable to score, but they actually only got 1 shot on net in those whole 6 minutes on the man advantage. I know they won, and I can't express enough how much they probably did not deserve this win. No complaints from me. Obviously, I'll take a Leafs win no matter what it looks like, especially over a team as good as New Jersey. However, their level of playing in this game was so not good. It was just not great at all. But I guess I kind of thought, okay, well, they've managed to tackle their toughest game of the week because the Devils were definitely the hardest team that they were playing this week. In fact, they were the only team this week they were up against who are actually higher than them in the league. So it was kind of like, okay, they've got the hardest one out the way. Maybe now they can actually start to play some really good hockey. They have some easier matchups this week. On the 12th of December, they played the Anaheim Ducks at home and they did win 3-2, but again, this was a questionable game from the Leafs. You have to remember that the Anaheim Ducks are currently bottom of their division and they're 28th in the league overall, and the Leafs still barely got a win past them on Thursday night. And again, a win is a win. The points all count the same. At the end of the season, it doesn't matter whether you scrape to win 3-2 or whether you won at 7-1. At the end of the day, the points add up to be the same. I understand that. However, I really would have liked the Leafs to have looked more comfortable in this game because, of course, the Anaheim Ducks, they are likely not cup contenders for this year. They're still very much rebuilding, you know, they're definitely in sort of that phase, and this should have really been a comfortable, decent win for the Leafs, and it just wasn't. It started off well. First period goals from Pacioretty and Nylander put the Leafs 2-0 ahead. However, a power play goal from Vetrano pulled it back to 2-1 going into the second. Pacioretty again got a tip in during the second period, but the Ducks were able to respond still, with Lacombe finding the back of the net off of a wrist shot before the end of the second period. A goalless third saw the game close out and the Leafs win it 3-2. However, they missed so many empty netters at the end. I honestly was just screaming at the screen like, how are you missing that? How? How are you missing these? The Leafs also went 0 for 2 on the power play once again in this game. Meanwhile, Anaheim were only given the one power play opportunity and they capitalised on it. However, the biggest tragedy of the night for the Leafs, and the biggest talking point, I would say probably of this whole week, is the fact that after the first period, Anthony Stolarz, who has been an absolute lifesaver for the Leafs, got injured. He left after the first 20 minutes, didn't come back to the game, and now he is out injured on IR. He stopped 7 of 8 shots in the first period. As we all knew when Stolarz was signed, he has had lower body injury issues in the past that have kept him out for significant amounts of time, and this was always the chance that you were taking, signing a goaltender like him. Yes, he is fantastic. He has saved the Leafs' asses more times than I can count. But he was playing a lot and he is not used to playing that amount of games. When you look at his previous seasons, he definitely has not been starting with the same frequency as he has been this season. That was bound to take a toll on his body, and it seems like he's tweaked something, likely in his knee. I know that was a problem before for him. So now he's out of the lineup, and in my opinion this is arguably more costly to have out of the lineup than Austin Matthews was, because the Leafs have really been saved by their goaltending so many times. So now I'm worried that if Stolarz is out for a while, that Wall won't be able to cope with the amount of game starts. Obviously we had Hildeby in the other night, which we'll get into, but for a team who's relied on their goaltending so much, this is definitely an area for concern. But anyway, Stolarz now injured, which is a shame because the team was just getting healthy again, because obviously we just got Matthews, Nyes, McCabe back, the team's finally healthy, so this is a real loss for the Leafs. But anyway, heading into the weekend games, on the 14th, Saturday night, they were away to Detroit and they lost 4-2. The Leafs obviously hadn't had a strong week. As I've said, the first 2 games against New Jersey and Anaheim, they were both wins, but they weren't comfortable wins at all. It was the first in their back-to-back division rivalry games this weekend, which is where you really want to be making an impact. A Red Wings goal had the Leafs trailing going into the second. However, a power play goal from captain Austin Matthews brought them back to life. However, the Red Wings found their lead again in the final minute of the second, and despite a goal from Matthew Nyes, goals from PT just 40 seconds later and Raymond with an empty net goal gave Detroit a 4-2 win. The first period was pretty dire for the Leafs. Obviously Mitch Marner did score, but it was ruled offside, and that seemed to really kill any momentum that was there for the Leafs. The second period was definitely better for Toronto as they spent more time in the offensive zone. However, that second period late goal seemed to really stop them in their tracks once again, as the third period saw them unable to make a comeback. The Leafs should have won this game. I guess if you were to look at like statistics and stuff, they definitely should have won it. However, defensive zone issues and a lack of 5-on-5 scoring cost the Leafs this game, and it was very frustrating for us fans to watch. I really did feel quite frustrated watching this game. But it's okay because the Leafs had the chance to finish out the week strong. They were at home Sunday night against the Buffalo Sabres. Early puck drop, which of course for me, with the time difference, was an absolute godsend. Watching the game at 10 p.m. rather than midnight or later was just such a blessing. It was absolute bliss. There's another couple early start games coming up in the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited about. But anyway, the Leafs win this one 5-3. They end the week off strong. However, they were not off to a strong start last night. It was a tough start to the game for everyone at Scotiabank and watching at home. Dennis Hildeby was starting in net. He definitely didn't have the same solidity, not even close to, as what Stolarz and even Wall have had. The Hildebeest was not quite out to shine, especially not at the beginning of this game. A power play goal just a minute into the game from Jack Quinn put the Leafs down pretty much as soon as the puck had dropped. Buffalo kept this momentum up with another goal less than 3 minutes into the game. However, Max Domi came to the rescue and he brought the Leafs back to life before the first 20 minutes were up. The second period was much better for the Leafs because even though Quinn got another goal and made it 3-1, a wrist shot from Nick Robertson followed by 2 goals from John Tavares, followed by a third goal from John Tavares in the third period, sealed the win for the Leafs. Are you ready for it, guys? You know it comes every week. You know there's not a week goes by where I don't say something good about John Tavares, and here it comes. I love John Tavares. I love that guy so much. I decided that for this video, there was only one appropriate jersey. Of course. The one thing I think I've said in pretty much all of these videos since I started making them is the fact that John Tavares is absolutely fantastic. I am a JT defender. We all know this. We all know this. I have a 34 tattoo on my ankle. I'm feeling like I should have a 91 one somewhere because I love this guy. I love him. I absolutely love him. He is staying in Toronto for the rest of his career. Change my mind. Leafs, pay him whatever he needs. Because somebody with that level of experience, still playing at that level, hold on to him with two hands. If John Tavares goes, it is a massive loss for the Leafs. I feel so validated by how good John Tavares has been because I have been talking about how good he is for so long. Let him go after his contract's up, like he's taking up too much cap space, he's costing too much money. I have always wanted John Tavares to stay a Leaf for the rest of his career. JT with a hat trick, a natural hat trick at that, to finish off the week for the Leafs, week 10, sealed off with a bow tied on top, all thanks to Mr. John Tavares. That amulet or whatever, it's working wonders, okay? Leafs are now clear top of the Atlantic Division. They're now a couple of points above Florida. They're also 6th overall in the league. Team from the 6 are in 6th, and I like them there. Overall, it was a good week for the Leafs. I struggle to say it was an excellent week because New Jersey, daylight robbery, didn't deserve that win. Anaheim should have been a comfortable win and it wasn't really. Lost to Detroit. And then Sunday's game, obviously, comeback win. I can't complain about a comeback win, but you know, they were still down for a significant amount. Although I think we are spoiled with how good the Leafs have been so far this season, so I am not going to complain about them. I just feel like it's a little bit more accurate than saying, yeah, they won, you know, 3 out of 4 this week, which yes, they did, but you get different kinds of wins, and the Leafs were, you know, not comfortably winning this week, especially given that some of the matchups were much easier. Although, I'm happy, I'm very happy, I love this team. I just want Stollarts to be back soon, that's really all I want, because the Leafs goaltending has just been saving them this year and I really want that to continue, so hopefully he'll be back soon. They have 3 games this week. They have Dallas, Buffalo once again, and the Islanders. Dallas have not been a powerhouse so far this season. The Islanders are actually really struggling within their division, and Buffalo, of course, you know, we just played them last night, but they are not doing particularly great either. Just need the Leafs to not play down sometimes to the teams that they're matched up against. They are definitely doing things this season. I can still see them going so far, and I'm having a lot of fun watching them. I feel like we're having a lot of fun hockey games this season. I feel like they are really entertaining to watch, and it's great as a fan to be able to enjoy hockey games like this. So those are all my thoughts for week 10 of the Toronto Maple Leafs season. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of this week's games? Once again, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more Toronto Maple Leafs chats from across the pond. Bye guys!